Where's the meatloaf? Oh, hi. I'm Kenan. Welcome back to my fast paced series on the hardest digital SAT practice problems. I recommend starting with my first video in the series. In this video, we're studying 3 problems on translations. Luckily, you've spent half your childhood studying translations.
Let's go! Solve your math problems.
Now, tap pause to try problem 1 on your own. We always start by using my what's the most important word strategy. So we jump to the word what to find the question, to try to find what the most important word is. In this problem, it is X-Intercept. But the X-Intercept of what? So it looks like we'll have to read the whole problem. When you get longer problems like this, usually you can do them one sentence at a time. If you try to do everything at once, you'll get everything all mixed up. So, whenever you see a period, a comma, or the word and, break the problem right there. Okay, the first sentence tells me this is a problem about lines. Over the years, I've learned that line problems are usually slope problems. So let's start by finding the slope. Do you remember the slope formula? If you've forgotten the slope formula, you should probably write this down. M, which is the slope, equals y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. I like to think of it as the change in y divided by the change in x. All we need are 2 ordered pairs to find the slope. So I'm going to pick the bottom 2 ordered pairs. Looks like the y values went down by 44 while the x values went up by 11. So that would make the slope -4. Next, we need to find the y-intercept using the point-slope formula. Do you remember the point-slope formula? If not, you should probably write this down too. The point-slope formula is used when you know a point and the slope. It is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. The point-slope formula will be perfect for this problem because we know a point and we know the slope. Plugging in 18 for y1, -4 for the slope, and 10 for x1, then distributing the -4 gets us y minus 18 equals -4x plus 40. Lastly, to solve for y, we add 18 to both sides to get y equals -4x plus 58. That's everything we can do with the first sentence. Let's go to the next sentence. Now we need to create line H by translating line G up 9 units. That's not going to change the slope, but it's going to make the y-intercept 67. Finally, we get to the actual question, which is what is the x-intercept? Do you remember the rule for finding the x-intercept? If not, you should probably write this down. The x-intercept is the value of x when y equals 0. So we put 0 in for y and solve for x. To solve for x, we must subtract the 67 and divide by -4. That's not really the craziest problem I've ever seen, but it is a good reminder about making sure you always find the slope in a line problem, and a reminder that the x-intercept is the value of x when y equals 0, all of which are very common skills on this test. Now, tap pause to try problem 2 on your own. Here again, we have a translation problem because it is asking for y equals f of x minus 3. But we can't start with the question until we've used all the facts. Don't ignore the facts. So, what does it mean when you have a function in factored form like that? If I asked you to draw the graph right now, could you do it? Hopefully, you remembered that when you have the factored form, you can quickly draw the graph because it gives you all of the x-intercepts, which would be x equals -1, +1, and +5. It's my favorite math game. Connect the dots. Is the translation going to move the graph up, down, left, or right? If you're not sure, you should probably write this down. Translations on the inside always move the graph side to side, and it will always move in the opposite direction. You know that brain cell that you just used to figure out that x equals -1, +1, and 5 up there on that problem? Use that same brain cell to figure out that x needs to be +3. So this graph is going to move to the right +3 units. Now, we move all of the x-intercepts over 3 to the right. So the x-intercept at -1 moves right 3 to +2. Likewise, the x-intercept at 1 moves to 4, and the x-intercept at 5 moves to 8. That gives us a bunch of ordered pairs, which match the ordered pairs in Table C. So the correct answer is C. The trickiest part of this problem is remembering to move right +3, even though it says x -3. If you're used to solving for x and always changing the sign on the number, just use that same brain cell to remember to always move the opposite direction for the x when it's a translation inside the parentheses. Okay, we've got one problem left. If you just got a little smarter, please like and subscribe so you won't miss any of my videos. And most importantly, improve your SAT score. Now, tap pause to try problem 3 on your own. The dream crushing sociopaths at the SAT got a little angry on this problem. First of all, let's deal with the fact that they are showing us f of x, but asking about g of x. Which way do we need to translate this graph if it says f of x plus 3? Well, similar to the last problem, we want to move horizontally 3 units. But this time we want to move 3 units to the left because -3 would make x plus 3 equal 0. So let me draw the new graph. Just like the last problem, we can start by shifting the x-intercept, which will move from +1 back to -2. Next, we shift the vertical asymptote from x equals +2 to x equals -1. Do you know what causes a graph to have a vertical asymptote? If not, you should probably write this down. Vertical asymptotes are created whenever a function has a denominator equal to 0, because you can't divide by 0. Division by 0 causes a break in the graph, and as the graph gets really close to that break, the y value shoots up or down to positive or negative infinity. Since there is a vertical asymptote, it's no surprise that all of the answers are rational functions, meaning they are fractions. Here's a little dadvice for you. Fractions always start in the bottom. So whenever you see a fraction in an SAT problem, immediately look at the bottom. What's important about the bottom of these fractions? If you don't remember, you should probably write this down. You're never allowed to divide by 0. 0 in the top is okay, but 0 in the bottom is not allowed. Do you have a way of remembering not to divide by 0? If so, please add it in the comments. So, if you look at the first answer, do you know what x cannot equal? -1. That is because -1 would make the bottom 0, and that's not allowed. So A is the right answer because x cannot equal -1 in that denominator. And the graph also has a vertical asymptote at x equals -1. The next video focuses on fraction problems. So remember that fractions always start in the bottom, and hopefully that will help. Thanks for watching. Please like this video and don't forget to share with your friends. A link to the hardest problems and the paper practice test is in the description. Please practice.